running or anyone moving away to just give it some space. Of course, I've never seen anteaters in the wild. I've seen them in captivity, but I wouldn't mind seeing them in the wild one day, but just one day. This is their range in South and Central America. And now, the next animal I'm going to show you is one of the most ancient creatures that has been haunting the world's waterways since before the dinosaurs. It is the Black Caiman. Now, Black Caiman are the largest reptiles in South America. They're in the crocodilian group, which is the same family as crocodiles, alligators, and caiman, and gharials. They are in the alligator family, and you can actually tell it's an alligator by looking at the snout, because it has the classic flat, short and broad, rounded snout of an alligator. And of course, a fully grown male can be just over 4 meters long and be 2 times heavier than me. And they have 68 to 72 curved cone-shaped teeth. And they have one of the most powerful bites in the animal kingdom. Of course, Black Caiman are found mostly in the jungles and wetlands and the rivers of South America. And they will feed on anything. I mean, they primarily feed on fish like catfish, piranhas, and the like, but they will occasionally feed on birds, large mammals, frogs, lizards, and on occasion this animal has been known to be a man-eater. Of course, one thing that has always amazed me about crocodiles, or crocodilians, is their eye shine, because Black Caiman tend to do much of their hunting at night, and of course when you're out looking for them, because they have a reflective layer of cells at the back of their eyes that enhance their night vision, but also they reflect light, and in crocodilians that's bright ruby red, and as you can see here, their eye shine is almost bright ruby fiery red. Another thing that I've always liked about crocodilians is because they have a reputation for being cold, hard dinosaurs, mindless killing machines, but actually they are anything but, because they are very, very protective mothers who will put their lives on the line to defend their offspring. But also, when I said about them being older than the dinosaurs, and that's partly down to their physiology, because crocodilians have been known to be able to stay underwater for well over 2 hours. And how they do that is by rationing the oxygen in their blood and slowing their heart rate down to just 3 beats a minute. And they have special sensors along their jaws that pick up vibrations in the water, and that could be the wake of a fish, or it could be a panicky, struggling animal. And of course, then they will then hone in on it, and then bang, they will take it. And of course, another thing about the crocodilian family, like the Black Caiman, is that in lean times, like if it's very, very hot, or in some places very, very cold, they can just scrape out a hole, go deep underground, and just shut their bodies down and just go to sleep for a whole year, relying on their fat reserves, and they can stay in like that for months, even potentially years. It's actually believed that that nifty trick helped them outlast the dinosaurs and survive the ice ages. Here is the Black Caiman's range. for one of the most famous and savage fish around. It is the Black Piranha. The Black Piranha is the largest of the piranhas. It can be well over 1 metre long, and they have teeth that are as sharp as a surgical scalpel. And of course, the Black Piranha is one of the most intimidating fish in the world. That they have a burning red eye, and they can actually take a human finger off with one single bite. Of course, as youngsters, they feed by biting chunks off other fish's fins, but when they become adults, they choose different prey. Of course, piranhas are mainly detect their prey by using an organ that runs down the length of the body called the lateral line, which is laden with hair cells that can pick up the vibrations of struggling prey in the water, but also they have a very, very keen sense of smell, so just like sharks, they can detect a teaspoon of blood in an Olympic swimming pool sized area of water, and when they go into feed, because they feed on other fish, large mammals or birds that are struggling in the water, or they scavenge on carrion, or quite often they can be cannibalistic and eat their own kind, because how undercut the jaw is. That all serves the purpose for them to be able to swim into food, take a bite, and then wrench it away and swim away at great pace. And that's mainly down to the fact that piranhas tend not to hang around at the dinner table because a lot of the members there are cannibalistic and they will eat their own kind. Of course, piranhas are really of no danger to humans in the wet season when the rivers are very, very full and high because they're in less concentration. But as long as you have no cuts on yourself, no open cuts, you're able to swim out in the wet season. But in the dry season, when the waters get really, really low, the piranhas are in higher concentration, and that's when they can be dangerous. But there are people who go out fishing for black piranhas, well, all piranhas, and one way they have of doing it is to agitate the water to make it look like maybe a struggling bird, a struggling mammal, or another struggling fish, because the piranhas are then very likely to come in and investigate. But even so, I would not go fishing for piranha unless you've had a lot more experience, because you're probably more likely to lose a finger. Here is their range in the waterways of South America. Now, the next animal is an invertebrate, which is an animal that has no backbone, but it's also the creature that put the creep in Creepy Crawly. It is the giant centipede, or the giant scolopendra. This is the largest species of centipede found on the planet. When I say the largest, I mean it can grow to be 35 centimetres in length, which is about as long as my forearm. Just at the base of the head, there are these long antennae, but also a pair of legs that have evolved into claws, and they're attached to a venom gland. And of course, Scolopendra centipedes are found throughout the tropics of South America, and they mostly feed on other invertebrates like crickets, cockroaches, beetles, but also they will feed on lizards, frogs, small mammals, and even snakes. But in a few caves in Venezuela, they've been seen doing something incredible, catching bats, actually hanging upside down from the ceiling to grab bats as they fly out. Of course, their venom is strong enough to kill a bat instantly, and Of course, if I was to get bitten by a Scolopendra centipede, the venom probably wouldn't kill me, only probably, but all it would do is make sure that for the next few days there would be nothing in my world apart from pain. Because I've actually got a friend who was bitten by a Scolopendra centipede once, and he said it was like having a burning hot needle stabbed into his hand, and the pain went all the way up his arm until it went completely dead. He was laid up in hospital for more than a week, and not even the maximum dose of morphine could stop the pain. And so it's important that when you're handling a Scolopendra centipede that you wear thick leather gardening gloves, because they can usually be a good way to keep the fangs at bay, but also to make sure you have a firm grip, because they can be very, very hard to handle. Here is where they are in the caves of Venezuela. Now, the next predator I'm going to show you is another ancient reptile that has haunted the world's waterways since long before the dinosaurs. It is the American crocodile. Now, the American crocodile is found in Central and South America, or Latin America, as well as some parts of the USA. And it can live in salt water and fresh water, and they have special glands inside their mouths to remove sea salt from their systems and can cry out saltwater tears. And like all members of the crocodilian family, they have well-developed senses of hearing and smell, and senses along their jaws that can pick up vibrations of struggling prey in the water. Of course, a fully grown male American crocodile can be as long as a minibus and weigh as much as a car. Of course, their main diet is fish, but they will also eat insects, crustaceans, frogs, lizards, large mammals, and every once in a while, big American crocodiles have been known to take people, so they are confirmed man-eaters. And just like the Black Caiman, their eyes glow bright ruby red in torchlight, and like the Black Caiman, they can also lie in a hole, shut down their bodies, and go to sleep for a whole year in lean times. And they can also stay under water for over 2 hours by lowering their heart rate to just 3 beats a minute and rationing the oxygen in their blood. And like the caiman, well, like all members of the crocodilian family, it's believed that that nifty trick helped them outlast the dinosaurs and survive the ice ages. And while I would not advise going swimming with an American crocodile, because, as I said, they are confirmed man-eaters, and I would not want to go up against one of these. And here is their range. You can see them found here in Central and Latin America, as well as here in Florida, Mexico, and around the Caribbean. Now, the next next predator I'm going to show you of South America is probably the ocean's top predator. It is the orca, or killer whale. Now, orca are commonly believed to be whales because of their size, but they aren't actually whales at all. They are, in fact, the largest species of dolphin. And when I say the largest, I mean a big male can be over 8 meters long, weigh more than an elephant, and has a dorsal fin that can be about 2 meters high, so as long as I am tall. And they got the name killer whale, mainly from the 1860s, when a whaling captain witnessed them hunting and killing a fully grown whale and described them as spreading death. And and then killer whale